not watched either the English or the Arabic station. So I won't sit here and tell you what we're about, but I will tell you a little bit about our reach, because Al Jazeera English was launched 4.5 years ago, yet now it is in over 220 million households. And it has in this incredible amount of viewers from all over the world. But it is not an ethnic company, an ethnic station that has one target audience. It has a global audience. So it is slightly different, and we have maybe different things to say on this panel about that. If you put aside the numbers, the amount of people that work for us, over 50 nationalities, over 70 bureaus across the world, the reach of Al Jazeera is not something that I can really talk to you about in 3 minutes. Anyone who has been to just the Middle East, where I am based, if you walk through the streets and you look at the cafes, if you walk through the houses and you see through the windows what people are watching, it is mostly Al Jazeera. It's become part of life for people, certainly in the part of the world that I am used to. So it has this incredible penetrating power across the world, I think, but certainly in the Arabic-speaking world. Our problem is that we're not shown in the United States. We're shown in Washington, but generally if you want to watch us in the United States, you're watching us via the internet, because nobody will carry us. It is a huge problem, and something that weighs heavily, and something that we are battling and fighting for at Al Jazeera. We have 2.5 million viewers on the internet per month, with the highest watched news channel on YouTube. And that's just a small indication as to the demand that people here do want to watch channels like Al Jazeera, but they're simply not given a platform. And I'll just end by telling you a little bit about what I've been doing. Just in the last few months, I covered the Egypt revolution from start to finish. I've just done a 3-week stint in Yemen covering the uprising. And I've just come back actually from the West Bank, where I covered the Palestinian reconciliation between Hamas and Fatah. And as you said, I'm back to Egypt tonight. And that's not to impress you all, it's just to explain to you why I have a bit of jet lag and exhaustion. But I'll try and
tell us a story that you think the American public really needs to know, that you've covered, or Al Jazeera has covered recently, about the Arab Spring.
Wow, there's so many, because I think essentially it's really what you were saying, Gary, about stations that are able to get into the nuances of stories simply because we're from the area, we speak the language, we live it, we breathe it, we eat it, we smell it. And I think that kind of slice of life that we do, and I'm sure in the course of the discussion I'll probably think of examples, but right now it really the larger point is really trying to translate to people, and we have a particular challenge, if you like, because we have to speak to a global audience. So that could be somebody sitting in Thailand who is 80 years old, and it could be my mother sitting in Egypt. And you have to translate that for everyone. You have to make it interesting for everyone. You have to engage everyone. So our way of doing that is to talk about people, because you may not be able to identify sitting in the US, in Florida, a 50-year-old woman sitting in Florida may not be able to identify with a Gazan woman during the war, for example. And that's something that I was really aware of when I was covering the Gaza war from the inside. She doesn't know where Gaza is, you've never met anyone who's Palestinian, you don't exactly know what the issues are, but you can identify with the fact that this mother is terrified because she's worried if she dies, her child will have to live alone in that house, and how is he going to survive? And that's what we try and do. We try and reduce it to the lowest common denominator so that people outside can connect, and that's really what we're about.
And what is the most important story you want to do first when you get back to Egypt?
I'd like to do a story about corruption and how, in essence, despite the fact that we've had this revolution in Egypt, it is far from over. And the military in force right now still has this very heavy hand. And we need to sort of break that down in terms of how much people's lives have been affected since.
Thank you so much.